We're going to have a great call tonight. We'll try and keep it precise and to the point. But a lot of exciting stuff going on. Who tuned in Friday to listen to the Zoom? Raise your hands there. Some exciting information. Wouldn't you agree? It's very, very exciting information. I'm going to go into a couple points that they made just as reminders. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. If you were on it, you know. Okay. If you weren't, you need to call someone in your upline that was, okay, and get it from them. So, but I will mention a few things. A couple things I do want to share with you. If you have teammates, if you have, you know, contacts, relatives, friends that are in Europe, tomorrow an announcement is going to get made for Europe that on February 1st, they're going to have Collagen and Evolve. They're both going to happen at the same time. So they're going to be notified tomorrow. You say, Bobby, how would you know that? Well, because we got a call from Liza on Friday, who is the general manager over there, saying, would you please make a video for us that I can play on Monday when I announce it? So that's how we know. So what's exciting, folks, is that collagen is starting to be available in many countries now, which is really, really exciting. The thing that really got me excited about it going into Europe is that the euro and the dollar, they're not that far apart. Okay, they're about 8-9 cents apart. It's not that big of a difference. But get this, the collagen over there now is basically the same price as US, and it includes, when somebody buys it, it includes VAT and shipping is included. Now, for those of you that have done business in Europe, you understand VAT is a big deal. Okay, the VAT tax, okay? That's a big deal. And depending on what you're sending and how big it is and where it's going, shipping could be a big deal too. So shipping and VAT is included, and the price is the same three prices that the United States sees: the retail price, the subscription, and the consultant price. Theirs are actually a couple dollars cheaper. I don't know if that's because of the exchange rate or whatever. I don't know, but so it's exciting. So get Europe back in your mindset if it's not already there, okay? Because Evolve exactly the way we have it, and Collagen will be there in about 3 weeks. Okay, they will have it. So the announcement tomorrow is going to give them a chance to be running up to it and moving. That's why they wanted us to make them a video on how to lead up to it, so they're not standing still when they open it all up. Okay, so that's one. Number two, let me go to my screen. And how dare me start without saying Happy New Year to everybody? I am bad. I'm sorry, folks. Happy New Year. Okay. I did say Happy New Year because we did it Monday night, not New Year's Eve. So I did say it. Okay. So I get a little bit of a mulligan. But the one thing that April and I really, really wish for everybody, that 2024 is your best year ever. And I don't mean just in LifeVantage, I mean in life. That you have your best year ever. So cheers to it being your best year ever. So we have a collagen launch coming up. We weren't sure if we were going to do it or not, because we've been very supportive and very involved with Carrie and Tara's 90 thing that they're doing, 90 days or 90 presentations, whatever it is, on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And that's going to continue, but we are doing our regular opportunity launch. Okay, we'll modify it a little bit if need be, but we are doing it. It's Monday night, January 29th at 8:30. So the next couple Sunday nights, we'll remind you, but it's going to be Monday night. And that way there's no interference whatsoever with Carrie and Tara's presentations on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So next. Okay. So what you're going to be hearing about, if you haven't already heard it, and again, I'm not going to get ultra specific here, but this year is going to be dedicated to rising. Okay. All of our businesses rising, and there's going to be some tremendous new incentives. 5 actually, they call them tracks, but there's going to be 5 different components to how we're going to be focused on building our business. And a lot of it is going to be focused on, we spent 2023 focused heavy on customers. 2024, a lot of the incentives that we hear from corporate, they didn't announce the trip, but they are going to announce what the next trip is in Nashville, or maybe Saturday the 13th. I don't remember, but they are going to be announcing the trip soon. And making the trip is going to be involved with developing a lot of consultants and helping consultants advance. But what I wanted to share with you now, the RISE era standing for enrolling, retaining, meaning having people on subscription, and advancing, meaning getting consultants in and beginning to go through the Evolve Comp Plan level by level. Okay, and they're going to be setting up a really cool incentive plan with his 5 different sets of prizes and awards you can get that are above and beyond what we already earn, okay, in the comp plan. So it's additional incentive. But the one thing I want to keep on the top of your list and on your minds, even though I'm not going into a lot of details. Friday, they did go in a lot of details, but everything, if you missed yesterday and you don't have an upline that heard it, or they don't want to talk about it yet until Saturday comes, whatever, it'll all be laid out Saturday. And even if you were on yesterday, you need to be on January 13th. There's more things they're going to announce that they did not announce on Friday. And again, it's the same thing we've been talking about, folks. You either need to go to a watch party or be a watch party, okay? But don't watch alone. Have some fun with it and get some new people to see what's going on and what everybody's excited about. So like I said, there's going to be 5 components to the new incentive. I am not going to go into that. If you saw it, you saw it. If you didn't, you didn't. But here's the thing I am going to go into. The exciting news is that we need to start working now, okay? What they're going to be announcing, okay, is going to be retroactive to January 1st. So even though today is the 7th or whatever, we need to start doing the do now. Because even though they're officially going to be launching this new incentive and it's going to go for at least 6 months, it's going to be retroactive to January 1st. So we're going to have all of January, and then, it's going to go for at least 6 months. And I'm telling you, prices are really cool. And they're above and beyond what we already get paid in the comp plan. Okay, now if you understand there is no more MVP, you haven't heard anything about 3-in-1, but 3-in-1 is kind of rolled into what they're going to be talking about. MVP is rolled in to what they're going to be talking about. And I'm telling you, it's exciting. One thing about April and I, whenever the company says there's something else out there that you can have besides your paycheck, man, we always made a point of going and getting it. Like free is free. And it didn't matter if we needed it or wanted it. We could always just give it away. We could always do whatever we wanted with it, but it wasn't about that. It was about accomplishing a mini goal within the scope of our business plan. Okay, and that's all this business is. It's a series. When we talk about mini goals and we talk about maybe attending a live networking event, or getting a new enrollment or a new customer. And these things sometimes to some people, they don't sound like a big deal, but one new customer leads to 2. 2 new customers leads to 3 or 4. 3 or 4 customers leads to someone becoming a consultant. 1 consultant leads to 2 consultants. And the whole point is this, folks, if you didn't get the first customer, none of it happens. See, it's all about momentum. It's all about confidence. It's all about getting your pitch straight, what you're saying to people, getting it straight. It's all about energy, excitement, and enthusiasm. Well, where does that come from? That comes from internal. Okay, what fuels it? That first new customer. Okay, or that networking event. You heard April and I did one a few weeks ago, and she had been doing them. I hadn't. Okay, I've been working, trying to create new warm market, playing pickleball and doing some other things like that. But it was exciting to come home from this networking event and with 4 or 5 new leads. Okay, you heard Cheryl and Steve talk about it last week, that they met someone in New Year's Eve party, ended up going to their house after midnight, and talked about doing other things and getting together again. It doesn't sound like a big deal, but those are where things start. And those are how things start. Something massive doesn't just fall in your lap. Massive things do happen, but they happen because a lot of little things have been happening for a while, and then all of a sudden there's something big. And it looks like it just like came out of nowhere. Rarely, if ever, does that happen. What happens is bigger things happen because a lot of little things have consistently been done right. And I wish there was a shortcut, folks. I wish there was a magic bullet or a magic button or a certain amount of money you can invest or spend or do and have a business like Rachel or Tara or Carrie or whatever. There's not. Those businesses are the results of a few things getting done, dozens of things getting done, hundreds of things getting done, thousands of things getting done, and now it's hundreds of thousands of things getting done. But it all started with a few things. So it's going to be a great year. We know it's all going to become official with the new incentives and things on Saturday, this coming Saturday. But we need to start working now. And April's got some great tips for you on what you can start doing right away, and some of the things we're going to start doing right away, and some of the things we've already started doing for the new year. So I'm going to stop the share, April, and it's all yours.
Thanks. Happy New Year, everyone. A lot of exciting stuff going on. If you saw Friday, there's a lot of new prizes and rewards that they're going to give you. And, one of the things in this business is there's this big compensation plan, and there's these ranks that you try to go to the next one. And as you get up there, the ranks get further and further apart, take a little bit more time to accomplish. But what you need to remember is we all have our own goals. We all have what we want. And, after you've done a certain thing, like create a mini goal for yourself. Like, if you get so many customers over whatever amount of time, you're going to reward yourself with something that maybe is a little bit extravagant to you. These are the little games that you have to play. You have to figure out what your hot button is. What's going to make you go to work when you don't want to. The difference between successful and unsuccessful people is successful people do it even when they don't want to. That's the key. They continue to work. And so, I can tell you, I went back through a lot of old leads the other day. And of my old leads, and I do mean they were like deader than dead, 3 of them I've already given videos and I'm following up with again. So, I always think it's the person that just makes the most calls. And we all have so many people that are our customers. Now, I also have 2 customers that we've already talked about over the holidays, come the end of December, that they're going to do parties for us. So that they'll do a party. We'll have all the ladies over, and we'll do some collagen and some of the True Renew, which is a great sampling product too. So it's all about getting around people. And we just need to make sure that through the day, we not only touch base primarily with all of your consultants. I mean, some of us, that's easier than others, but this is a time where you want to pick up the phone. If you don't service your customers, somebody else will. I can promise you. You may think they love the collagen, and somebody will come along and talk them into using something else. If you're not, actively talking to them, following up with them, just, making sure that they're happy, making sure, as I've said, your name is out there. Whenever somebody says, something about a vitamin or whatever, I can tell you time and time again, they're always like, well, April knows. Well, I don't know everything. I don't know. I don't even know that much. It's a little bit of a hobby on the side, but I have no medical training or anything to be able, or nutritional training to be able to answer anything. But I've gotten it out there so that when somebody talks weight loss or nutrition or something, they think of Bobbi and I. And that's really where you want to get, so that you have all these people that are thinking of you. When they think of, I always laugh when we haven't heard from somebody in a long time, because whenever somebody gets in a new networking company, they call Bobbi and I, like we might make a change. It's like, it's a bit of common sense. We're successful where we are. We're not going to
And
change.
go with them who we hadn't talked to in 15 years.
Right, right. Who's just starting out, knows nothing. But it's again, it's a matter of softening. But the flip side of that too is we'll get the calls for people that are looking at a company and ask for advice. What do you think and stuff too? So, you want to get it out there so that people know what you're doing. It's a solid career these days. We've got a lot of successful people, but again, it's the hardest part is getting it going. It just got to be doing that work to where you're reaching out, you're talking. And so make those mini goals for yourself, so that you can reward yourself for when you just get a few people. Besides surprises, and I think one of the things that we forget about is the Growth Summit. Do you realize that the Growth Summit now is someone that's doing 10,000 a month? No longer is a Pro 5, I forget what they even called that now, but you don't need to be doing 20, you need to be doing 10. So 3 months in a row doing 10. In fact, I think Catalina will be going this April. She's qualified for it from the last June to December, but the new qualification is January to June, or July, something like that, I think to June. So, that's a 2-day trip down to corporate. That's a great experience when you can say, I've been to the corporate headquarters. I've met with the CEO, a lot of the corporate people and stuff. They get to know who you are. It's a lot of fun. They pick you up at the airport. They spoil you for 2 days. So that may be a trip. Maybe you've not been to Salt Lake. Maybe, that would be fun for you to be able to go. So maybe the prize doesn't interest you, but a trip would, or whatever. So, there are so many things that they're laying on top of our compensation plan. But I want you to start to reach out to everyone. I can tell you in the beginning, the less you talk to people, or I should say, the more you talk to people all day long in different situations, it gets that much easier. So when you bump into somebody in the supermarket and they say something to you, you are so much more ready because you either went through all your Facebook friends, you went through all your contacts. We all know so many people. So funny. We were Friday night, we went to play pickleball. We went with our friends to a neighborhood that, we've been to once or twice now. We've known them a while. In fact, they're in the business. And we're playing with another couple who we thought were probably early 40s or whatnot. Turns out Bobbi's talking to the guy, again, warming him up, gonna, figure out who he is and what he does for a living. And we're going to figure out, how we can share some of what we do. And it turns out that now I'll call him a kid. This kid was the roommate of my youngest son in college. Can you imagine this? That's what a small world it is. My youngest son's roommate, literally, he played lacrosse, so we didn't come across him as much as the other baseball players who we knew really well, but they were roommates. I mean, what are the chances of that happening?
They lived together for a year.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. This is such a small world. When we did the doctors years ago, one of the best things we could do was to get into an area. Now, you could do doctors, you could do salons, you could do a small town, you can figure out whatever it is. But once you get a little softening of that market, it goes like gangbusters. That's why a lot of times you'll see small, tiny towns where people have lived forever, know everyone. When it pops fast because everybody, they already have the credibility. They already know one another and it goes super fast. That's why a lot of times they'll say maybe in a big city like New York or something, it's harder because people don't know one another. They don't interact as much as in a small one. So, you know, that softening of the market is what we all want, but you've got to be out talking to people. And maybe they don't do it today. Maybe they do it tomorrow. And that's what all these calls are about this time of the year. You know, it's been a few years since we talked, or it's been a few months since we've talked, or whatever it is, we all have people that we can reach out. Some will, some won't, some won't. So what? Nobody cares. I mean, nobody's passing judgment on you because they said no. It's just, we a lot of times need to get the stinking thinking out of our head. If you think you're afraid to reach out to someone, figure out why you're afraid to reach out to someone. You know, you've got a business that everyone wants. You need to learn to appreciate all the different benefits of it. And if you haven't achieved the benefits, look around and see some of the, I mean, if you look at all the presidentials and some of the upper levels, they were all flying around all over the country, doing all kind of vacations and stuff because they've put their due in. They've spent the time talking to a lot of people, and they'll tell you, probably got more no's than they've gotten yeses. That's totally okay. I mean, I don't know how many people I've talked to in the last day, but I got 3 solid people that are looking at videos. That's important. That is exciting. And so, you know, once I get that one, it gave me enough excitement. Now they just said they would look at a video. They didn't say yes to the business. They just said, you know, a small part that they'd look at the video. But that makes me get even more excited to where, and I can remember telling Bobby, I want to, you know, like yesterday, I'm like, I want to work the morning. I want to make sure that I get my calls in and stuff, you know? So you've got to figure out what your time blocks are and get that work done and figure out how it is that you can have your voice excited when you're talking to people, whether, you know, you're picking up the phone or if you're texting. If you always text the person, continue to text the person. If you've always chatted on the phone with them, continue to chat on the phone with them. But, you know, it's an easy thing to do, but we need to be making calls, lots and lots of calls to remind people what we're doing. And this may just be the time of the year. And I think this is the most perfect time of the year because people are blocked now. Not much going on. The Christmas, everybody got their Christmas decorations down. I know a lot of people don't, you know, whether you do or you don't, it doesn't really, doesn't really matter. But the holiday's over. People are getting into that blah season, you know, nothing goes on. The weather's kind of crappy. I mean, we're blessed here in Florida. It's not that bad. But even here we're complaining because it's chilly and it's drab and we've had more rain than usual. So, you know, people would like the excitement of maybe just going and grabbing a cup of coffee, going to lunch, meeting some new people, going to a meeting, traveling here or there. You know, they're looking for those things to do because they've been with their family. They've been busy for a while. Now they have some time to be able to do that, you know, and once you have that conversation with them, you will get better. Every time you have a conversation, you know, even if you had a conversation and it didn't go the way it should have gone, you make a note. It's a learning time. You make a note and say, maybe I shouldn't have said that, or maybe I should have asked that. You know, there's you probably know this, but there's ChatGPT, which is one of these AI systems these days, which everyone uses. Put in your question there. Like, I'd say I'd like to send a text for an opportunity for someone who might be interested in a wellness business to look at a video. You got to give a lot of information and it'll pop you out a text, an idea of what to say. I mean, there's another system that if you're on Facebook and you're not very chatty, you don't know what to say to responses. Again, you put the response in and it tells you everything what to say. You don't have to be smart these days. You just have to do the do. You just have to keep doing it. And like I said, these systems these days, you know, you hear about AI all over the news. They'll even tell you what to say. I mean, it's not really that hard. But again, just make it a numbers game. You know, tell yourself, I'm going to make 10 calls every day, or I'm going to make 5 calls every day, or whatever your time allows. But obviously, the more you do, the better you get. The more you follow up. If you've never talked to the person, great. It's the first time. If you're following up because you haven't talked to them in a year, Happy New Year. You know, I'm excited about my business. You know, are you in a place or are you open to hearing a little bit more about my business? Yes or no? That's fine if they say no. That's okay. You know, I hope everything's good with you and your family. You know, hope to see you soon and, you know, you're on to the next. It's really, really that easy to talk to people, but so important. And like I said, the company's doing an excellent job of motivating us. Wouldn't you like to be in a position for the next trip that comes out? Now, a few of us are going to go to Punta Cana. We're going to have a great time. But wouldn't you like to be in place for that next trip? And if you fine tune your skills now, start working on your skills. Maybe you get one of the 5 prizes now. You know, maybe you work your way up to the MC1, the 10,000, so you get to go to the company. But if you fine tune your skills to learn to make those calls, and again, we don't care what the answer is that they say, make your 10 calls. It's just it's a numbers odds. It's like if you're, I guess, a gambler or better, at some point you got to win. Nobody fails 100% of the time. So you just put enough stuff out there so that you're successful. And then, you know, the group here is unbelievable with community will help you keep that person in, you know. We're very, you know, we're able to do that. So those are, you know, that's, if you look at mine, oh, I dropped my sheets on the floor so you wouldn't see the mess behind me. Sheets, notes everywhere, you know, nothing's organized. I just make call after call. There's no rhyme or reason, you know, why I know them or how I know them. When I'm in my phone, if I see a name, I call it. If it's an old sheet, I'm calling it. Whatever it is, I'm just making the calls because, you know, again, it's that time of the year where I want to start doing active recruiting, and I don't want to be left behind and not have my skills be the max that they should be. So hopefully that helps you. If you need any help with dialogue or anything, use ChatGPT. They're better than me, but if you need me, you know, just text me and let me know. So, Bobby.
Great information. You know, it's really simple, folks. We just need to put ourselves in a position to talk to people. And, you know, if you have customers, you got people to talk to. If you have consultants, you got people to talk to. But, you know, there's nobody to talk to if you're just sitting in your kitchen or living room. You know, you got to get out. And I'll tell you, you know, it was funny. I was telling April, I really enjoyed our service in church this morning. And I love going to the first service. So we're very close with our pastor. And we had the good fortune of becoming friends with him and learned about his Amway career, he's a Middle Easterner that grew up in Cairo, Egypt as a Christian, and then came here and became a pastor after he went to Christian Bible school and stuff here. But he's an athlete. He came here on a soccer scholarship. He was an Amway distributor, and he's Middle Eastern. And April and I and Jay will tell you, we have a lot of experience from our old company dealing with Middle Eastern business folks, okay, and doctors and stuff. So we had a lot of things that we bonded over. And then he became our pastor, and he's been our pastor now probably for 10 years. But here, I say that to share this with you. We were friends first, okay? We knew we couldn't get him in the business. Why? Because everyone in the church is in a different network marketing company. That's why he can't pick one. He would alienate the whole congregation, you know? He just can't pick one. But you know what he does? And he will never miss an opportunity. And this can come from sports. This can come from church. This could come from work. He has become, and for years now, has been our biggest cheerleader. And like, you know how when you're leaving church and there's a recession line and a lot of times you wait because you want to shake his hand and tell him he did a good sermon or whatever. I always like going to the early service because it's the first time he's delivering it. He does 4 services on Sunday, and I like to hear it. They're all live, but I like to hear it unrehearsed, like not the second, third, or fourth time. I like to hear it the first time he does it. But he has become a cheerleader. And what I mean by that is April and I know we can't sneak out without shaking his hand after the service, even if the line is long. Okay, we can't. But we don't want to because he already has somebody in mind that he wants to introduce us to. And what he'll do is he'll turn around and say, Bobby and April, this is Mike and Marie. They're new to the church over the last 6 months. You guys have a lot in common. You should talk or get together, have some coffee. And that is how he helps us. He's a fan. He's a cheerleader. He couldn't do this business. Now, he's used our products, don't get me wrong, but it's, and that's starting to happen with pickleball. And I was telling Kenneth this, we had breakfast the other day, and I saying, we're starting to meet so many people and they're asking, how do you know? And then they realize some of the people playing pickleball with are now customers, and one has become a consultant, and it's spreading. And whether they do the business or not, because we were friends first, they are cheerleaders for us, okay? And they tell everybody who we are and what we do. And that's what we got to do this year, folks. That is the key to this business. We got to get around people. And April's training was perfect because we already have access to a lot of people because of social media and our phone, but we need to reach out fresh with a new message for a new year and just see how they're doing. Just how you doing? You know, it's been a while. I just saw your name. It just popped up on social media as, you know, how they suggest friends, add friends, or you could have been scrolling through your phone and the name just popped up. You hadn't seen it in a while. That's what April was just talking about. But she's piling up network meetings for us. She just texted me another one on the 31st. We got another line. She's lining them up. Just do whatever you got to do to get around people, and all you got to do is say, how you doing? Okay. And focus on being their friend first before jumping on them about, do you want to buy some product or start a business? You know, be their friend first. People are cool, you know, especially when you really do want to be their friend first. So, but anyone got anything? April, you got anything else? I know there's somebody I want to hear from tonight. I see her, Sheila, but I'm saving Sheila for last. So has anyone got anything they want to share? You know, next Saturday's the 13th. That's when everything officially gets rolled out. Please try and watch it with people and not alone, so you can share in the excitement together and get your enthusiasm and excitement, all, you know, adrenaline flowing as a group. It's much more fun, you know, to do it that way. But anyone got anything they want to share? Any new news? Don't be shy, but you have to unmute if you do want to say something. Everybody's muted, so unmute yourself. Well, if you guys are good and don't have nothing, Sheila, would you please unmute yourself? I heard that you got something exciting to share, and Charlotte has been teasing me, and you know, I want to hear what you got to say. So Sheila, go ahead, please.
Good evening, everyone.
Happy New Year, Sheila.
Happy New Year. Well, Charlotte and I went to my church to do a presentation today. My pastor's so cool and relaxed, so we just asked him, could we tell something about our company? And he gave us the opportunity. Matter of fact, he carved out a place for us to present it today. And I told Charlotte, I just prayed over it, and we left with a list of 24, and it's like 10 people on here want Tandem. So they waiting for me to call them to get their card and their number. So, and we did get a new business partner as well. And we left there with one order complete and one business partner. So we super excited about it. And I told her we're gonna do this again. And that's the way to start the year off.
Yes.
Congratulations. That is definitely the way to start the year off. And you know what? Just the fact that the pastor carved that out and blessed it and gave you the opportunity to do it tells me the relationship you have with him. Okay. And the fact that you called him a cool guy, I know that you have but see, you're friends with him. He's your pastor, but you're friends. And you know what? He did what a friend would do for another friend.
Yes.
And
yes,
he endorsed you, not what you were selling or sharing. He endorsed you. And that's great. I mean, congratulations. You know, it's funny when Charlotte was teasing me, I went to look in our back office and I saw that you had enrolled 2 new people. So I said, oh, she got something good to say because they just went in, you know, today. So congratulations. That's great. And You know, I'm sure you know this, Sheila, but the 24 leads, there are consultants in there and there are customers in there, and follow-up is very important. And follow-up
Yes.
within the first 24 to 72 hours is crucial. So
Yes.
and April can talk to you more about that. And probably if you want to talk to April, give her a ring tomorrow if you're going to be doing some follow-up, because she's the best at following up of anyone I've ever met. So
Okay.
but 24 leads is a score. Congratulations.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
because
We have been
that's
sleep.
from church. Those folks know who you are. You have
Yes.
credibility. That is good. That wasn't a job fair or something. That was your church. So
That was my church. Wasn't nobody there but her and me and Charlotte. And I think I told Charlotte I like to just be my authentic self. So I just told him how I met Charlotte. And I said, let me tell you, I said, this is my friend, but I'll tell you how I met her. I said, this white lady was running in the parking lot in Napa, California. And that's what got them. They said, I want what she taking. So I shared that like that. And everybody said, I want what she taking too. Which one she taking? And we said, both of these. And they said, we want that. So that was
that's
it.
great. Well, keep us posted, okay? And if there's anything we could do to help you, just let us know.
All right. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
for sharing.
Thanks for sharing.
Thank you. Anyone got anything else they'd like to share? All right, I want to give you a couple dates. Just jot these down in case you know folks in the area. Obviously we'll be in Jekyll Island on Friday and Saturday. That's in, for those that don't know, don't know that, that's in Georgia, about an hour up 95 from Jacksonville. Okay, heading up into Georgia. We will be there, and I know Rhonda, we are looking forward to seeing you there. Where's Rhonda? Rhonda, you have 4 guests besides yourself coming. That is, I love it. Or 5, 4 or 5, something like that. I just saw the list, and 4. Okay, it's I know Wilhelmina is coming down, and she's got guests from Hilton Head. But if we can help you in anything in that area, if you can send anybody over, we're staying over 2 nights. We're staying over Friday night and Saturday night, and the event is all day. But following that, on the 18th, we will be in Hilton Head. And on the 24th, we'll be in Chicago. And then April, what's the date for Myrtle Beach with Joanne and Diana and Marge and them up there?
I'm not
February.
sure. I don't know. I have to
Is
look.
Joanne on here? I
She
thought I saw
probably won't.
Joanne.
Yeah, she probably won't unmute. I'll look.
Yeah. It's the 15th,
It's
Oh,
the
okay, thank
15th?
you.
Okay.
February 15th.
All right, so Myrtle Beach is February 15th, and there'll be some others, but those are on the calendar. They're set, plane tickets, hotel, they're all set and ready to go. So if you know anyone in those areas, but anyway, it's time to rock and roll, folks. Okay, it's time, and the company's going to shoot lighter fluid on stuff on Saturday and make it all real. But everything we've done between January 1st and the 13th will count. Okay, so let's get after it. But have a great night, everyone. Thanks for joining. Sheila, thanks for sharing. And we'll talk to you soon. Have a good night. Bye,
Good
everyone.
night.
Bye-bye.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Way to